Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mark Loeffler Experience. Thanks everybody who's liked and subscribed to this point. If you haven't, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that whenever I release some of these great videos and all this great content, you're getting that notification. In this video, we're going to talk about the 3 phases of investment. So the 3 phases you're going to go through as an investor, and we're going to talk about where you are in that phase and what maybe types of things you should be doing. And we're going to talk about some of our past guests that we've seen and which phase they're in right now, what phase I'm in right now. All right, let's get started. The first phase of investing is the build phase. So in the build phase, you're using a lot of leverage. So you might be buying your first house and you're using a government insured loan. So you're doing 5% down in Canada, 3% down in the States, and you're buying that and you're using a lot of leverage. Or you're making your investments and you're buying real estate and you're using leverage. Because, I mean, right now the bank is giving out loans at 2.4, 2.5% in Canada. In the States, it's like 3% on a 30-year. Why wouldn't we be using this time to build our portfolio and, start using that in the market, right? And getting that and leveraging all that in the market. And guys, I know there's people out there and they're Dave Ramsey fans that watch this and they're going to say, well, that is bad. Well, yes and no. If you have credit card debt or if you're using your line of credit to go purchase, I don't know, trips or TVs or consumable items, then I would tell you, yeah, then that debt probably isn't the best. Yet if you're using those, if you're taking that line of credit and you're going to invest in like stocks or real estate or businesses, or you're doing mortgages with it. So you're lending that out at 10 to 15% and you're paying 3%. These are good investments. These are investments that will pay for that line and pay that off. And that's the leverage I'm talking about, right? So you're using a lot of leverage in the build phase. So if you think of it like that hockey stick analogy, right? You're still on the blade of the stick. That's the blade of the stick. And the second phase is a growth phase. So once that, it kind of hockey sticks up and you're going to go into the growth phase. So that's, I mean, if you look at it, so Ara, who we had on last Friday, he's in the build phase. He is, 4 or 5 years out of school. He has young kids at home and he's got he's still employed. He hasn't bought his first investment property yet. He's in the build phase. Myself, Mandy, Quentin, actually Quentin might be out of this phase, but myself, Mandy, Jeff, and myself, we're in that growth phase. We're in that phase where we're still in that, like, we're in the hockey stick, right? We're going and it's, I mean, our leverage is coming down on all our properties. I mean, I think my average leverage is around maybe 60% of the whole portfolio now. And it's taking off, right? And yet we've had that build and now it's like, whew. And I mean, I know Jeff actually still might be in the build phase. But Mandy's in that definitely a growth stage. And then Quentin, he's going to be in the defend stage. So let's talk a bit more about the growth stage. So what happens in the growth stage? Your asset, obviously your leverage goes down, your portfolio value goes up, you start making more cash flow from it because the spreads are better. And in this phase, I mean, we can go back to ROI versus ROE, the talk. I mean, we'll link that video in the description again if you missed that one. Yeah, I mean, you're using the equity of these properties to go buy more and more and more. It basically becomes a self-perpetuating machine where the income and the equity you get over here goes and helps and builds over here. And that's, guys, this is why the rich get richer, because they take their assets that they've accumulated in this growth phase and they take the equity and they invest in more assets. And that leads us to the defend stage, where where probably Quinton is, and people like my parents are, where they've built up those assets over time, and now they're really using that income to live. So they're using their dividend income, they're using their real estate income, and they're using that to live. And maybe Quinton's not there. I mean, I know he uses a lot of that, and he's still pretty active. So he's probably still in the growth phase. Yeah, he's still in the growth phase. Yeah, so somebody like my parents, though, they're in the defend stage where they're super low leverage. They have no debt. They're, they live minimally, and their assets are there to provide them with a living. So they're depleting their assets to live. And what phase are you guys in? I think identifying which phase you're in helps you make your investment decisions. Like if I'm in the build phase, I'm going to say, well, I'm going to use more leverage. Even in the growth phase, I'm still using a fair amount of leverage. I mean, my total leverage goes down over the portfolio, like my percentage, yet I'm probably still using more leverage. Now in 10 years, I might be sitting here telling you guys, while we're still on YouTube and you're still watching and you've still subscribed and you're still smashing the like button, that, I'm deleveraging. I'm just paying down my mortgages. I'm happy with it. And, when refinance comes up, maybe I'm not pulling out money from it. Maybe I'm just letting it roll. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I don't know. I mean, in 10 years, what do we really know that's going to happen? I mean, all I know is that the population's probably going to be higher because people still want to immigrate to here or other places I'm going to invest, like Tampa. So there's going to be a bigger population. Our government's still going to be thwarting people building? Maybe. And if they are, it's good for people who already own because, more people, less places to rent, higher demand. So, when I'm in the defend phase, I still think I'm going to be okay, guys. Don't worry about me. What phase are you guys in, though, and what's that going to do? So if you're in the build phase, you're using a lot of leverage. Are you in the growth phase? So in this growth phase, basically, your hockey's ticking up, your values are going up, and you are paying down your mortgage or your lines of credits or whatever you're using, and yet the value is going up way faster than what's going on over here. So right there, that gap's up. So you're paying down, gap's up. And that really gives you a lot of equity to play with. So you can go and roll that into other investment vehicles and diversify. Guys, so those are the 3 phases. Let me know which phase you're in. Comment down below. Guys, I'm happy to talk about anything you guys want to talk about. So comment what you want to see. And yeah, thanks again, everybody, for coming. See you in the next one.